Good morning, everyone. We'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Wednesday, May 7th, 2025 meeting of the Nicholas County Commission. Can we start with our motions?
We have a public comment back. Make a motion to review and waive the reading of the April 16th, 2025 minutes and approve as presented.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried.
One review of the exonerations as presented by the Nicholas County Assessor. I move to approve accordingly.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Upon review of estate and fiduciary matters as presented by the Nicholas County Clerk, move to approve accordingly unless otherwise noted.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion is carried.
Upon submission of budget revisions received from elected officials and department heads, the commission will take appropriate action as deemed necessary.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Upon review of invoices as submitted by various departmental offices, the commission will take the appropriate action as deemed necessary.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, we have some terms of office expiring for the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission to fill the unexpired term of Jessica Taylor, who, did we accept her resignation?
Yes,
That has resigned. Do you have anybody for that?
not on that. Got the next.
Okay. We also have a unexpired term of Brandon Vance, who has resigned. Does anybody feel that?
Yes, I just found this out last night. Tracy Spencer. She lives up in the area there. I was trying to refill it with somebody from Craigville so they could help out with the influence.
Okay.
It's TRACEY Spencer, SPENCER.
Okay.
From Tioga.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to accept her as a fill-in board member for the unexpired term of Brandon Vance. Do we hear a motion? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion has carried. Will you inform her?
Yes.
Okay. Our 9-10 was with our maintenance director, Mike Moore, on some things, and he had to be away, so we're going to back him up to 10-15. And so now we're waiting for two people from the health department. You want to pause this? Can't?
Yeah, it runs out.
Okay, so we're on a break. And we'll be right back with you.
So I wish you could pause, or I wish you could mute.
Okay, we'll call this meeting back to order. And our 9:30 appointment is with Deputy Clerk Elizabeth Underwood regarding the Clark Harrison estate file. And we have an objection to the settlement. Is there anyone here that plans on speaking? Okay, raise your hands.
It's got to swear again.
Whoever's speaking, raise your hand.
Or might speak.
Yep, thank you.
Do you and each one of you solemnly swear or affirm that in this matter, in this hearing, your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Okay. Do you want to start with her? Do you want to do the names?
Yeah, Patty, do you care to read off the names for the record, please?
Okay, if I mispronouncing, please forgive me. Clarence Abbey. Suzanne Abbey. Or Abby,
ABS.
Abby, I'm sorry.
Close enough.
Dennis Messenger, yes. He's the one that's objecting. Annabelle Ramsey, yes, she's the executrix.
Mhm.
Timothy Rose. Colleen Connell. Carney. Connell, okay.
And Karen Harrison
In the back.
and Josie Moore.
Yep.
Okay. And appearing by phone, we do have counsel Larry Hara. Just for the
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And
Sir, if I may, who's objecting to the final settlement? Because I haven't received an objection.
You care to? So we're gonna have Deputy Clerk Underwood begin and she can explain that, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so on April the 16th, Janice Messenger had a claim on the estate and the commission had discussed it, and she said that she would sign a release. So we had gotten a release for that. And then on the same day, on April 16th, we got the final settlement from the executrix, Annabelle Ramsey. And so we sent out notification to all the heirs, and we had gotten an objection on April the 24th by Janice Messenger. And if you don't care, do you care if I read the letter? It's not very long.
Absolutely.
So it says, "This is Janice Messenger. I object to the accounting of the estate. Annabelle calculated the total receipts to the cost of $19,856.81. She totaled the disbursements to $14,819.99. This leaves $5,036.82 not accounted for. On another account, I object to the price and the sale of the Massey Ferguson tractor that was sold for. It was not properly appraised and was worth a higher value. Also, the Nicholas County Commission told her not to sell any assets on the estate until it was settled." And that was the letter that we had gotten, the objection.
Thank you.
And Mr. Harrod, just for the record, who do you represent?
I represent Annabelle Ramsey.
Okay, that's what I
the,
thought.
Personal representative of the estate.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's hear from the objector first.
And you didn't raise your hand, so you need to swear her in.
Oh, you didn't raise your hand?
Yeah. I did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
You gotta raise your right hand, not your left hand.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, do you swear and solemnly swear in this matter that you will tell the truth? Your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay, he's sworn in. Can you come up here and get close to the phone so the attorney can hear?
I'm not certain what else to say except for what I said in the letter. There is $5,000 left accounted for. And I'm wanting to know where it went to.
Mhm.
And like I said, the tractor should have been properly appraised for, and it wasn't, and it should have been worth a whole lot more than she sold it for. And the county commission told her not to sell it until the estate was settled. And she sold it right off the bat, when there was still money in the account to pay the bills.
What was the amount on the tractor? How much was it sold for?
4,200,
4,200?
yes.
What was it?
What was it worth?
No, what was it?
What's the model?
Massey Ferguson tractor, I'm not certain of the, I think it was 4,500 or something. It's no. That,
There's not such a thing.
I'm not certain of the
Right.
numbers on it.
So it's like a big garden tractor type thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd ask permission to question the witness.
Yes,
Ms. Messenger, do you have an appraisal of the tractor?
I know what Daddy bought it for, but I
No,
don't
that's
have
not
an
my question.
appraisal.
That's not my question. My question specifically to you is, do you have an appraisal of the tractor yourself?
No, I do not.
Now, okay, you don't have an appraisal, so you haven't submitted any evidence whatsoever that it should have sold for more other than your opinion. Is that correct?
Correct.
And here today, your opinion, you don't even know what the model number on the tractor is. So how could you know about it?
Because I seen the receipt that Daddy bought it for when he bought it.
And how long ago was that?
It's been a little while.
In a little while. How long?
I'm not certain of the exact amount of time.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Messenger. No further questions.
all right.
Then the $5,036.82.
It's still in the bank. That's the reason it's not subtracted.
Okay. So that's the remaining balance.
Yes.
Like the rest of it was used to settle the estate, pay debts, and pay everything off.
May I ask why that wasn't dispersed to the heirs?
I am the heir. Her name's not on that. the will anywhere that I know of.
Does she
Correct.
plan to keep that money? If she's closing the estate?
Ms. Ramsey is entitled to, payment as personal representative of the estate as well.
Okay, I
And
do
she's,
know
and
that.
she's the heir.
Okay, I do realize that, but it wasn't put in the paperwork. It wasn't said that that's where the $5,000 was going.
Is that typically assumed, so whatever's left over the heir gets, or is that something that should be accounted for in the final settlement? Is that typical, right, for real for once, is that typical, like if you have a single estate heir, that whatever cash is left over goes to them, is that understood? And is that something that should be typically captured in the final settlement?
It should be.
Okay,
You can file any settlement with them.
okay.
Fill them out.
And do you have any issues with that?
Well,
Do you have any issues filing an amendment to the final settlement stating that that would remain with you,
yeah,
the remaining cash?
I just need a release of the money to me when it's like.
Gotcha. Okay,
That's what I still.
right. So the intention is to keep the remaining funds.
The last will and testament does read for the record, all the rest and residue of my estate I give, devise and bequeath unto my sister Annabelle Gross, Craigsville, West Virginia, to her property, to be her property, absolutely.
That's after everything's.
Yes, all the rest, all the rest and residue. Yes, sir.
I guess it was her understanding that that money was to remain there until it was settled and then pulled out.
Right.
So if it has to be the opposite, then she has to actually put that in the final, and she won't have any trouble making that amendment.
Okay.
Mr. Hare.
That's correct. And she won't have any trouble making that amendment. The thing of it is, though, she's the only heir, I don't even know that Miss Messenger has standing to object to anything. But the last will and testament is very clear. I don't believe Miss Messenger has standing to object anything, but.
And that's the thing I would say is if the tractor was sold for a lesser amount, she's just shorting herself. I mean, that's,
Right.
yeah, she's giving up her own money
Exactly.
based on the way the will reads. So if she sells for $5 and it's worth 5,000, she cut herself $4,995. She shorted herself.
That's exactly right.
So in this,
That's what.
it says, I give to my daughter Carlene Louise Harrison $4,000. Did you do that?
No, I'm giving them the property instead. The property is worth much more than, if I were to give them $4,000 a piece even, the property is worth much more than that.
So she's not following the will fully then.
And if they want to sign an affidavit saying they accept that, then that's perfectly fine.
We've had an agreement as to the estate, as to the property. The children wanted the property, so we had anyone that had an interest in the property to explain their interest in the property and sign disclaimers. I have those, and we had an agreement that the children would receive the property, although they're really not entitled to it. But my client was willing to do that, and so was everyone else that had an interest in the property. Now, if they're changing the agreement, then we can go strictly by the will, I guess.
Yeah, the property itself has a value of 3 to 5 times
Right.
what the will stated as a cash value to the heir, to the children.
So
Correct.
Miss Messenger, are you listed in this will anywhere as an heir?
Yeah, I'm listening to her.
Are you listed? Are you
Oh,
one of the
no.
heirs listed? So you're objecting this on what, I mean, what's your basis on the objection? Like I said, if she's shorting herself on money, that's on her.
Okay, I give up then.
Right. Well, it's not about giving up. I'm just trying to understand what your approach or what your goal is here. If you're not listed as an heir and she shorts herself money, I don't understand how that
That's
impacts you.
just what I was trying to find out.
Okay. So you're just looking for an accounting of the.
Yes, I
Okay.
was.
All right. So I'll make a motion that we dismiss this objection.
Wait, okay, let's finish a couple things. Is there a Carleen Harrison here?
Yep.
Okay. Do you agree in lieu of the $4,000 to the piece of property they're talking about?
The land and lieu, yeah.
So we
And
have-
you've signed an agreement with Mr. Harrow, as he mentioned. Okay,
Excuse me.
sure.
I also got them an extra acre besides 30 some acres that's there because all the heirs, the 1 acre that was supposed to go to Maxine, she's the deceased.
Mhm.
And so all the heirs have signed that acre over to them.
To bring it back into the, and rejoin it with
Into the
the
fold.
Yeah, so the
original.
original will,
Right.
I mean.
Yeah.
You're right here,
Yeah.
right here. Okay.
Deed.
So you're okay with the way it's in lieu of the $4,000? Okay, so, and you have the $5,000 she's discussing in the bank,
Right.
okay? And so and I'm in agreement with Gary, you have no standing, ma'am. I'm sorry, but you don't. And there's no reason for you to take up our time anymore because you have no standing. Okay,
Sorry for taking your
okay,
time.
thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion on the floor to dismiss this objection, brought on by, hold
Go back.
May I thank you for giving me your time?
We're just waiting on the recording to come back on.
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
okay, well, there's a motion on the floor to object or to dismiss this objection upon no legal grounds. We have the motion. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion has carried. Thank you, ma'am, and we're sorry it didn't work out for you, but you just have no legal standing. Okay.
Thank you for time.
Does anybody else want to say anything?
Quick question, based on rules and, policy of the commission. Her next action would be to file that amendment, and then we can come to you to
Close it up.
close up the whole
Get it-
estate.
get it-
and
get on the
be done with it. Would we need,
Work with her.
would we need to bring the deed for that property to give to the children at that time to wrap it up, or can that be done at a later time?
Well,
Council.
if they had that legal
Because that-
there to
that's
sign.
an agreement, that's an agreement
The agreement-
outside the will.
If I may, the agreement states that, upon the closing of the estate, the deed will be executed. So I have the deed.
Okay, fantastic. So we just need to get that amendment in and we're ready to wrap this up.
I would just say any alterations to the will or any agreements like that are captured. So if there's any, dispute in the future that we know that it's all been signed off and legally taken care of.
Yes,
So,
yeah, it's on
Yeah,
record with the
when,
county.
when all this comes back to us in 2 weeks, we just need to have it very clear spelled out for us so we can vote on it over.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
anybody else have anything?
Well, and all the heirs need to sign an agreement.
That's,
so
you,
that-
you need to have that done before it comes back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay,
all right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, well, welcome back. We're running a few minutes behind, but this morning we have Jonah Quinn and Mr. Larry Reynolds with us to discuss some things about the farmland protection.
I'm gonna go first.
Ready? Morning.
You don't have this. I think that was sent to you,
Yes, here it is.
resolution on the next easement that farmland protection would like your approval to purchase. On the Derek Butler farm out at the old Lion site,
Mhm.
built from. $150,000 from the Nicholas County Board and then $150,000 from the state authority would go into that. And that would make this board with an even dozen easements that we've done. For a total of 1,486 acres countywide. We've gotten $414,000 from the state and federal government to match what the local board has done. And we're requesting that you all give us permission to move forward with that.
Any questions?
Is this literally where they have the fly-in, that big field, or is it just near there?
It's the farm behind, above that.
Gotcha.
That fly-in is part of that farm, but it's not included in the easement.
Okay. That's cool.
And you're comfortable with everything? There's no reason for us to get involved in. You good with it?
Yes.
You're on the board?
Question I had was, would this impact if they ever decided to go up through there with the school? I know they talked about an entrance to the school.
There is an actual road that comes off. the
Okay,
back
okay,
of it.
yeah,
It's
I've
down
never been back
already.
in that area.
It's not open, but there is an actual. road.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
So it
that's,
wouldn't
is that, but that's an actual right of way.
That that wouldn't affect.
If they needed to widen that out or something, they don't have any issues. Okay.
Yeah, okay, we need a
Yes,
motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve this resolution as presented here this morning for the purchase of the Derek Butler easement, which is located
Phillips Run.
off of Phillips Run Road.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion has carried.
Thank you. And I believe you all were sent one of these.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Take a look at the history of what we've done as far as Nicholas County Board and where we rank in the state and everything.
Right.
So
Give another
it's,
copy.
it's good information. And I hope to take advantage of it and see what the board has done.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.
So you,
County's highlight.
what, how much money do you have right now after this?
After the purchase. Right now in the bank, we have about 340,000.
So you'll have close to 200,000.
We have some,
190.
a baseline to purchase yet. It's a little less, maybe closer to 200 maybe. Hopefully enough to start on our next one.
Okay. That's good.
Applications will be reviewed in August or September for the next go around.
Now, do you publish the requirements or anything like that?
Anybody that requests information on it, we give them a full disclosure of what, the ranking sheet, the scoring sheets and everything.
Okay.
How we come up with who gets what.
And is there a minimum size? I think we had talked about this once before. You
That
guys
would probably
put-
just go in the ranking.
It would,
Right.
Okay,
yeah, the way
yeah.
it's scored.
Okay.
You get the bigger track you're putting in, the more points you get.
Right, absolutely.
So
Okay.
unless you have an awful lot going in your favor point wise, on a really small track, it's sometimes difficult to get
Gotcha.
in there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We also have a discussion concerning liability insurance.
Yes, I had sent you a letter back in March, asking about coverage for the board, liability coverage. Other counties do cover their farmland protection boards. I checked with Patty and she checked with West Virginia Corporation, which is your all's insurance carrier. And they said that our board was not covered. So we are asking if you all can cover the farmland board. They priced us $950 to cover the board. We don't have employees. We don't have an office space. We don't have vehicles. I don't know if there would be a cheaper insurance out there. Do we need to stick with West Virginia Corporation, or would they give you a better deal if you were the ones asking?
Is that figure you got just you standalone or under our?
That would be the board standalone.
We're Patty good. Bobby, did they come in under kind of our umbrella as a?
Appreciate it.
Patty, on their liability insurance, standalone, it's like $950. Okay. Could they come in like under our umbrella and it's a little cheaper?
They can't come. Component units cannot come, and they are a component unit. But they can get their own through our
West
C
Virginia.
Corp.
Right.
And they like to do the airport and landmark commission, if that's how you want to do it.
That'd be
The
my recommendation.
950s through WB Corp.
Yes,
Okay. I know the PSDs, and if some of those use Bill Bailey Insurance out of Parkersburg, might be, it maybe, might not be much of a difference in price, but maybe if we get a second estimate on that, might be might be.
okay.
That'd be my recommendation to consider West Virginia Court because that's what we're doing for other current boards of this capacity. And so we need uniformity for the protection of these board members.
I have an issue with their payment cycle. That's the reason I'm advising that.
What is their payment?
It's their payout's not very quick. Yeah, I had some issues with that.
Oh,
So,
the park.
yes. We had a claim and it was almost 7 months getting a payout. So I'm a little frustrated. Yeah. You'd think at $388,000 a year, we get a little better attention than we did. We'll express that to our sales rep and the manager.
No, the one you recommended, what was that?
That's just one I've heard some of the other fire departments and the PSDs use.
It's not the West Virginia Court, it's just,
It's a standalone.
would you care to look into a couple other things and bring it back to us?
I don't have a problem with that at all. What was the name of
Bill
it?
Bailey.
Do you have contact information on it?
I can get it. Yeah, the fire department. John McGinnis would have it, but I can get it.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with it. Started it July 1st to follow the fiscal year would be fine with me.
Yeah.
Line up with it.
Yeah, if you can just get that information, get back on the agenda, we'll take care of it.
One more item. I have a letter for you. I do have a couple of members whose terms are expiring at the end of June. I just wanted to make you aware, and it's not on the agenda, but you can address that whenever. But they are willing to serve their second term.
Is it Jim Pike?
Mhm.
You can look that.
It's Jim Brown. He's on the phone.
Maybe it's probably just reappointed then if they're okay.
That's young Jim Brown, not Jim Brown, that Phillips Brown.
Yeah, you want us to keep this?
You can.
Yeah, we'll have to put it on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you'll, is this due now?
Their term runs out the end of June.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. If you could just get it on the agenda for us to make the appointments that, and they're willing to go on, that'll make it simple.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep rolling with the Dr. Stewart and Colonel Major.
Things major.
Yes.
The time, I was seeing patients too, so I apologize.
Here you are.
I have some stuff for you. Bobby, do you need
You don't want
one?
yellow?
You want red? I mean, they're not the
He
same.
just didn't want yellow.
I don't mind yellow.
Okay.
I'm comfortable.
I'll give you
with it.
the orange. All right, guys, so appreciate you guys taking the time. We're coming here to represent the Nicholas County Health Department. And wanted to just give updates on funding that we received last year and some of the things that we've done with that, and then talk about our goals for next year. And some funding requests related to those. So last year we requested funding to help support my role as the health officer, as well as to support data aggregation and program implementation to meet some of the needs that were found in the community. We have finished participation with our community health assessment and are working on should be finishing our strategic plan for the health department in the next couple weeks. But just wanted to show that the main thing that really was supported through this funding was our community health promotion and mobile outreach. And this was as of the end of December. So for the first 6 months, we did 27 outreach events, which was double of what we had done in the prior year. Provided education to 956 people and distributed 2,339 items to the community. And we continue to grow that program, serving communities in the area like Belva, Craigsville, Richwood, and Birch River, outside of our 4 walls using mobile capacity. I do want to also say that we were just featured from our national organization as a model health department and how we provide rural outreach to our communities. So that should be, they're presenting that data and that in a toolkit for the whole country to use. That will be presented in July at the national conference. So for the upcoming fiscal year, the 2026 fiscal year, we have our letter of our ask, and then behind that is some of our initiatives for this year. One thing that we're really trying to focus on is really working on and getting ahead of things and working on improving health here. So partnering with local agencies and citizens to kind of follow the governor's lead with the Mountaineer Mile, and that will be starting this month on the May 16th, I think. Sorry, I gotta look at the calendar. It's the Monday.
Yeah, 16th is Monday.
16th. We'll be meeting at the Veterans Memorial Park and walking there from 12 to 1:30 for folks that can join, and really trying to get businesses to allow their employees to come. We're going to continue the Just Breathe campaign, which is to help educate our local businesses on our clean indoor air policy, which exists. It's one of the most robust in the state, to reduce and provide education that vaping is the same as smoking in regards to that policy. So anywhere you can't smoke, you can't vape either. And to really help reduce the uptake and initiation of vaping in our youth, which we know is a major issue. One of the new things that started is we have hired a preventionist now that will help initiate the ICE Collaborative, which is integrated community engagement, to help delay onset of high-risk behavior and hopefully reduce high-risk behavior overall, partnering with our schools. You guys are aware that has been a huge ask. This will allow us to get local data and then be able to bring that back to communities to initiate action, and then provide a point person as like our outreach and education within the schools and within the community. And that's already been a huge success so far. Then the anticipated adaptive overcoming emerging threats. That's really to address vaccine preventable diseases. We know that like with the measles outbreak in Texas, we're already above last year's numbers. We're over 800 cases of measles in the country. We have measles in every state that surrounds us. We know that it's just a matter of time before we see measles in West Virginia, particularly in our region where we have a high amount of tourism. We know that we're going to have more folks coming through and moving through. So being prepared for those things, having education, prevention, and action plans available when those things happen, and dealing with other weather-related events. And we're seeing more extreme weather in our community, and how we can be prepared for that. And then to sustain our continued mobile outreach, we're partnering now with food banks. We plan to help support the Table, which is the new soup kitchen that the local ministerial association has started through the Homeless Commission. We plan to be volunteering and providing education and outreach services to some of those events as well. So I know last year we received funding for $75,000. We are asking to increase that this year to $150,000. Like many other public serving agencies, we've already received cuts to our immunization program. We have uncertainties related to our threat preparedness funding, and the grants that we've recently applied for, the funding no longer exists for those. So we're doing our best to diversify our funding streams and looking for other strategies to support services. But like everyone else, we're competing for a limited amount of dollars and a limited amount of funding. We would also like to start conversation with how we can work together to look at ways to implement funding streams into the health department. I know, Commissioner Roberts, you've been recently appointed to the PAC, which I think is one of the roles of that organization also. Which is the Public Health Advisory Committee, what PAC stands for. So I do hope that we can continue those conversations, so we're not having to come every year to ask for funding. We would like things to be sustainable. It allows us to be able to maintain our budget and build and grow and not have to worry about how we're gonna pay staff and keep our lights on and pay the PEIA increases that we're planning to see. You guys, I'm sure, made those things too. Yeah. Any questions about that?
Concerning the funding request last year, that was allotted for 75,000. Is my understanding a lot of that was supposed to go towards renovations to the health department? What's the status of those renovations?
So that funding request was related to, on the request that I had was for the Public Health 3.0, which was using like myself as a chief health strategist to move that forward. And for daily operations and outreach.
I thought it was for facilities.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was part of our opioid settlement. We gave $75,000 for the facility renovations because we had talked about an accountability that we have to turn in because we're actually submitting that report right now with Lindsay Brady, our grant specialist. So yeah, that was facilities. And then I thought we gave another $5,000 for ICE. It's 5,000 or 5,200 or something like that. We voted on that.
We haven't
I'm not
received
familiar with
anything.
that right off. If I have to-
That was for the city council. The Somersville City
Yeah, the
Council.
75,000, 100% was facilities. That's what the ask was for, facility upgrades. But you guys went through a bid process of.
We bid that out and that was
Yeah, really.
like $250,000
Yes, yeah, I never
over
purchased
bid.
Exceed it.
So that process was stopped because we did not have funding for
Right.
that, even with 75. I mean, if that was what that was intended for,
Yeah,
it
100%.
was not. Yeah, it would not cover that. So that, I mean, we've done changes, we've done some things to the health department with lights and we have someone that's helping us with maintenance now. I'm not like changing the lights anymore.
Understood.
But
We
that-
do our own housekeeping.
We're getting ready to implement some of that today as well.
so that funding we utilize for to expand medical outreach as part of that. That would be acceptable funding.
Yeah, we'll have to have this conversation with it also.
Any other questions, discussion?
I do have one. So, good news, actually, so we said this with a smile. So from JB McCuskey's office, we received a check for $30,000. That was part of the Lipitor settlement, where they had proven that the manufacturer purposely delayed the release of a generic. I don't think it's right by the county to take $30,000 that was paid into by citizens and, companies and business and actually throw it in our general fund. I'd like to see that go back out into the form of cholesterol screenings. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely your all's area of expertise on that. Partner up, and I know exercise would be a part of that as well, right? So
Yeah.
what exercise brings up good cholesterol, proper diet brings down bad
Yeah.
cholesterol. So I think that'd be a good partnership with that Mountaineer Mile, and also if that's something you guys could incorporate to your mobile outreach.
Yeah, we can.
Cholesterol screening for folks that maybe have issues with it, they can come and get free screenings. Would that normally cost somebody?
Yeah, they offer screenings. We have 2 facilities here that do like out-of-pocket screenings for folks that don't have insurance that are pretty affordable. And I say that loosely. I know nothing's affordable right now.
Absolutely,
But it's like,
right.
I think $10 for a lipid panel. We don't have the capacity to do like a finger stick. Some folks do have that. We don't have that capacity. We could certainly do education. We plan to, we're on the wellness committee for the schools. We monitor the data from the cardiac project and do education and outreach with the schools because we have a huge childhood obesity issue here as well. So really trying to get ahead of it, certainly doing education to adults, but really trying to get foods healthier, getting kids moving, getting, making healthy choices the easy choice and the affordable choice is really where we're trying to get in that. And changing the culture of health here.
I'd like to just, at least take part of that and put it into something where it's going back to the community for direct benefit to, the folks that need it, take advantage of it. So not that we have to sell it today, but I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for thinking of us for that.
Yeah.
And I had one more question on immunizations, and I know this is a hot topic and it just shows how ignorant I am in it. So it's just a hard thing to ask. Are they mandatory still yet?
So
I know
there,
that's back and forth. So my child, will he or she be immunized mandatorily for measles?
So it
Kim,
depends,
what you said earlier.
it depends how old your child is. And so it would still be optional for parents to do that. Right now, the executive order is still being upheld despite legislative, we've been through legislative session this year and there was no legislation changed. And so right now the law is as what it was, but we still have the executive order in place.
So the law being in place, if I have a child entering kindergarten or preschool right now, would they be immunized with the things that like are common, measles, mumps, I don't even know what it all is.
As it stands today.
With the executive order.
10:15. We would still follow the executive order.
Which
We
is
could,
It's
we could,
mandatory or not?
what you can request from the department, from the Bureau of Public Health. An exemption
Right.
for that specific vaccine. It would not have, and then that would be granted, sent to the county, and we have to accept those students. As it stands right now at 10:15. By the rule of the law, we would require immunizations by the rule of the law.
So the executive order gives them the right for an exemption, and that's
Correct.
temporary. Until they get it all settled out, and we'll figure out where we go from there.
My understanding, the last word was that our state superintendent, Michelle Blatt and Governor Morrissey's team are meeting to rectify this and come up with a plan of what to do. And we're waiting to hear.
I have just a couple more, actually. I think these are all positive things. When I looked at your budget. So on the immunizations, I see 78,000 come in and 78,000 go back out. So those are fully covered.
Those are, we buy out of pocket private flu and private COVID immunizations, and then we bill for those to insurances. We don't collect anything above what the insurance pays. And so that is covered as long as it's a policy that we're insured through. Does that make sense? But we don't take Caremark right now because they weren't accepting new providers.
And that's just projected, and it would probably be less than that based on the current climate.
So it costs the health department to provide those immunizations?
Yes.
Okay, that's
We
why I
have
was just
to-
trying, because it nulls
Yeah.
itself out if you look at the top
Yeah.
and bottom. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, we are not, and usually we eat that because if we buy 250 COVID vaccines, and we bought 400, this is an example, we bought 400 COVID vaccines last year because that was what we had done the previous year. And we bought, I think, 300 flu vaccines. We ate 250 doses of COVID. And they're 120 each. And it's one of those things you can't predict.
Right. Like I say, it's the climate.
It's very much climate based. We certainly are not ordering that many this year.
I got you.
So it's a balance of like, you have to order and book ahead of time. I frankly don't know that we'll even have COVID vaccines ready for the boost season. Because there's more trials now that are being required.
I got you. And then the flu, I mean, and I know it's not only, but that you're hitting your vulnerable population of the really young, with the elderly folks, right? So that's kind of, I won't
And
say
we're-
mandatory, but it's mandatory that we should have that type of
Right,
thing.
and we're one of the only providers in our community that provides high dose flu. And in fact, like when I was still in Fayette County, we sent people here for high dose flu. Which is the recommendation for persons that are over 65. It's a little bit higher immunity boost for the more vulnerable populations, just because as we age, our immune systems aren't as responsive.
And then the last one, I'm probably about to step on a whole bunch of people's toes, but it just is what it is. The clean and indoor air policy. What can we do to make sure that I don't walk through a flow of smoke from vapes and cigarettes when I walk in and out of businesses? We could maybe, yeah, but it's going to either need some enforcement or some education, because literally I walk in and out of places and I despise those freaking things with all that's in me.
So then I think what I would recommend is that you call us, and that because that is part of our enforcement. And so what we do, like I've done this personally, like that's happened to me. And I had my environmental specialist or sanitarian go to that business, provide education on the clean indoor air policy. A lot of times what we're seeing with businesses, they don't realize that it's tobacco and vapes.
Correct.
And so it's just providing the education that, listen, they're the same as far as like the air pollution related and affecting other people that have, respiratory diseases and things like that. And so after providing that education, a lot of times it stops.
Right.
And so, and if it doesn't, like, we always go back and check, like, are they still
Mhm.
enforcing that?
And I guess the big one would be designated smoking areas for larger businesses, are your employees just stepping right to the side? And I hate to pick on one, but it's one of the largest employers in the county, and you walk straight out through that smoke circle to get to where you need to go. So maybe they need to have the designated place where their folks can go do
Well,
that.
it's not, it's supposed to be 15 feet from the entrance, but certainly, if it was closer, or if it was in the flow of like walking to your vehicle, we could recommend that they couldn't. Thanks. All right, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay. We want to just continue on with Mike.
Yeah, this is Rich.
Brett Summers, is there a Brett Summers here?
Did he show up? No. The guy with Colonial Pen? Or Colonial? Colonial. Pen Club?
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock.
Maybe my entry was saving the best for last.
Yeah, that man started the ranch here.
Oh, he met our comments.
Oh.
He was just looking at you, Mike.
Man,
Man,
tough ring.
I know it.
yeah.
I figured it out. See if I show up.
Checking the parking lot. He's already working the halls, maybe.
Great. Good selling. Let's go through. Mr. Stern, right?
Let's just continue on. Okay, we have our Director of Maintenance, Mike Moore, here to discuss some issues. Mike, if you'd like to begin.
All right, first thing on the agenda for us, gentlemen, first, let me apologize for being late this morning. Thank y'all for accommodating me.
Really
Appreciate that. So y'all have a usage agreement with the law enforcement for this BB&T building over here. They destroyed this BB&T building. Like, we gotta stop that unless, it needs looked at, we need to take a walk around, but if they have future ones planned, we need to figure something else out, we need to stop that until we can reassess that situation for sure.
At minimum, I'd say a temporary pause on all usage.
Yes.
I agree.
So I also sent you all an email scope of work from Thrasher for the basement job. Do y'all happen to have your tablets? Because that scope of work is way too big for us to print off.
Right. Yeah. Actually, we have it on my, I'm here.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
showed the drill line and everything with you.
Sure
Yep.
did.
Yep.
So as far as that goes, everything looks great. Scope of work looks great. If y'all want to put that out for bid,
You believe it's adequate?
Yeah, yes,
I think so. too.
It'll fix all our problems.
it will.
Is it updating commodes and things like that?
No, sir. That is not, this will just be for the trenches in the assessor's office, setting the sump pumps. This is for the water issues coming into the basement.
Oh, this is not the plumbing.
No,
sir.
yeah,
Correct.
Did talk to him about that a little while ago. Talked about it. Yeah. But that scope of work is ready to be put out for bid if y'all are interested in that. I did talk to Bill earlier about the water line coming into the building. So I got to get with the city water department, getting that meter down there and see what size supply line that is. But it's not going to be a very big project at all. As soon as I get those pictures sent to him, he can probably have a scope of work in 2 or 3 days and we can get that put out to bid.
That's wonderful. Increasing from 1.5 to 2 inch, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So is that two separate things?
Yes.
Yes.
So
So the basement work and then the meter is concerning the plumbing upgrades.
Oh, okay.
For the
Yes.
grant. So will you have us a scope of work on all of that by next meeting so we can plan a bid?
On the
process?
water? Yes, sir. Yes.
And that and not only the water, it's going to include the new plumbing stuff we want to do, correct?
So according to Bill, this is just gonna be stepping the service up from 1.5 inches to 2 inch because comes in the building right now, it's 1.5 inch line and it feeds, and that goes up straight up to the jail. Then you have a 2 inch supply line for the rest of this building that comes off of it. So let me check my phone, see if he sent me. He doesn't know that we're gonna have to upgrade all of these pipes in this building because it's gonna step up our water flow. So he was supposed to send
And then,
me.
yeah, you're just looking at
Yeah,
condition.
because we need to know exactly what we put to bid, because we put this to bid already, but that it came short of not having the scope of work.
Right.
So,
So this scope of work, the way that he was explaining to me this morning, it'll just be, getting a new water meter put in, a tap from the city and upgrading that line from 1.5 inches to 2 inch to feed that 2 inch valve for this building.
yeah,
That
and
will
then
be
from
that.
that point, we need the rest of the information.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, see if you can keep that works.
Okay.
Good description.
Sounds good in my head, Miss Pat.
Sounds really good in my head, Mike.
The next thing I have, I talked to Mr. Painter about this, get some quotes for this front sidewalk out here. Remember, there's a lot of trip hazards out here. So I've got a couple of bids turned in, one from Alpha and one from 3-in-1 Construction. Now with these bids, we'll tear out these old sidewalks and we'll add 2 5x10 wings on each side that we can slide those benches over to. And it'll be from the top of the steps to the bottom of the steps out here.
Did we review those without stating the numbers, please?
Absolutely.
Only.
Sticker.
It's the special.
Only difference is in their bids pretty much, is that one is wanting to use 2x4 forms, top of construction, and 3-in-1 Construction said that they would be using 2x6. So a little thicker concrete. Be better.
And total rip out
Yes.
of the old, not trying to cap over.
Right.
But now that,
Thank you.
this bid is for the bottom of these steps to the bottom of those.
To the top. of those
To the top.
steps. Yes, because the city redid those steps. whenever they did
Steps are
sidewalks.
good.
Okay,
Yep.
no,
What
that's
about
just,
this?
that's just that. What about this one?
That'll be a different job. We gotta keep that open. We're gonna have to do it in different phases. So this will be the first phase.
That makes
Fixing
But,
that.
so you're gonna take different bids.
Yes.
But there's anything about these sides where the air conditioning.
That'll be in a different job.
Bays.
Yes.
So once the front's done, then we could do probably both sides of that.
We don't even need to mess with
That
this.
side's
This
pretty much
great.
new,
right?
It looks like there's a base failure in this one that can get compacted down.
Yeah.
Right, and a lot of settling and stuff.
Big sections.
Yeah.
I hope they like maybe capture that phase 2 in our next courthouse improvement grant, along with that sump hole in the parking lot.
Yes.
Whatever that
whole
thing-
Parking lot needs done.
Yeah, I
also.
think it's.
Yeah,
With
with that
kangaroos, I'll look down in there.
Right.
The corner line from around the corner.
The second phase.
Yep.
Second,
Yeah.
okay, that's that.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first one
'cause
will
it's
just be
just
this front
gravel.
sidewalk right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will this be level or will it have an edge
So this will be level.
level?
Yes. That way we can use the little edger and stuff on it and get rid of that curve. It's
Mhm.
always getting cracked and all that.
You're saying level with yard.
Yeah, it'll be graded out.
And then so are they gonna put a base under it? Back base,
Yes.
gravel, something or another. pack that up. I like that 6 inch versus 4. Concrete ain't worth a hoot nowadays.
Right.
So do we want to wait on the grant cycle or do we want to put this out with a specific spec? I guess that's
Because I was
kind
gonna
of
say,
crossroads.
because when you took these bids, you didn't give them a specific spec of what they need to use or what.
No.
Okay.
And still being over 5,000, under 25, we would need 3 anyways, which is fine. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. But
Yeah,
there
these are
might be an
good.
opportunity
I like the
just
estimates
to,
here.
I
Just to
don't
know
know
what
that
we're
I
looking
can
at.
find a third concrete estimate in Nicholas County, honestly.
I'm
Hard
sure we
for
could
us.
find in Fayette County or something. I mean, I'd like to stay in the county,
Right.
but at least to meet our statutory requirement.
Yeah.
Bell's is that.
I don't think they do concrete. I mean, I think they do concrete, but I don't think they do
Deliver.
the work part. of it.
Oh,
They just deliver concrete.
That'd be somebody you can check with there, just in case. And they might have an in-county installer that
Yes.
that's on them to provide the bid, but then we'd have a third bid.
Yeah, that's the other thing I had, so they have fiber and concrete, that's.
How big is those wings, the white ones?
75, I see that.
Is that big enough?
Yes.
So, well, I guess they'll be a little closer to the courthouse to stay away from the trees.
About where they are now,
Okay.
they'll just kick out midway, and about midways.
Okay, I maybe like to look at it, just look at that with you just for
Sure.
aesthetic, and try not to kill off our trees.
Right. Yeah, it shouldn't affect any trees up there.
Okay. The story goes that, you can't mess with the courthouse trees as a commissioner.
What is the distance? What is the?
That's
distance
a
from
story
steps to
that's-
steps?
I don't,
35.
some, yeah.
There's 35 feet on here, 35 by 15.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay,
15.
35 by 15 is less than 1,000 feet.
Yeah, and then the other
Are
one
you
says
sure
eight
it's not
hundred and fifty.
including something else?
That's those two kickout wings.
That's only 100 square feet. You said 35.
5 by 10s. So,
How,
yeah,
wi- how, what's the width?
15.
15. 15 by 35. Calculator.
525.
Plus 100, that's 625, and they're putting down 1,050. So are you sure he's not including this sidewalk?
We didn't talk about that. I mean, we talked about that being a separate job. So he should not have included that. I'll get a hold of him, and make sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, maybe let's come up with a scope and then we can,
Want Bill to come up with a scope from Thrasher.
do we need them on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Let's, you and I
Just
need to go.
Like 4 of us agree on one.
Cool.
It's just concrete.
Right.
But I do like the idea of 6 inches instead of 4. And I do like
You don't want 6 inches.
longevity.
You don't want 6 inches. It's just, that's a lot. And that's not saying he's putting down 6 inches concrete, it just says he's using 2 by 6 frame.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not heavy enough travel for more than 4 inches.
You don't think it'll crack?
It'll crack it, no matter what size it is.
Really?
Yeah, it's what's underneath that makes the,
Base does make a difference. That's fair, but that's fair argument.
yeah, the 6 inches, like if you go around trucks or dozers.
Yeah, I'm just looking for cracking.
Well, yeah, just longevity.
Yes.
No.
So we're 2 years.
While
now.
we're talking about this, keep in mind, we do have an available boiler down there that we could make these heated sidewalks with just a little bit of PEX.
Yeah, I'd be all about it. I'd be all about when I made it.
Well, you got them tore up, so all you have to do is put the line. in.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to do quite the residential one. I think it's 8 or 10 inches. I mean, you could do 16, 18 inches and still make a
Anything to keep
difference.
the ice off.
Anything to make a
shovel
difference.
easy.
Right.
Because all concrete hates salt. So as much as we can stay away from salt.
Let's,
Not like my initials in it.
No, veto.
no picture.
I'm still in this. veto.
Cautionary or it's all?
Solid.
Let's do a scope.
Indefinitely.
And advertise the bid. If we don't get 3, at least we advertise to get.
That's correct.
3.
Right. That's correct.
I can give you 2 concrete people's names.
Great.
But, let's get together, put together a scope. You hold on to those. We didn't see them. And let's do that and do, because I got a feeling you might have 2 entirely different bids right there.
Yeah, we just need some.
Because the square footage wise doesn't work out, right?
I don't know what he did there.
I'm thinking he included this on.
And he may have, but he probably shouldn't have, because that's not what we discussed. But either way, we will get some more bids, get a scope of work, and we'll bring it back when the next get
All
around.
right, thank
Not
you.
to complicate things too much, and this is something we could talk about in our preparations. But maybe 1 bid for just the front and 1 bid for both in 2 phases. And
Well, like you said, this one was in good shape. Scott.
Yeah,
We just gotta do that
that's.
time.
that
well,
was
yeah,
just-
so like 1
And then 2.
and then 2.
2. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that.
But then that way
That way
You're
it's
not-
broken down.
Like,
it's
see some
broken down,
lanterns
but
too.
also
I really
the
want
prices
to
are
think
set
we
when we're going
Have
into
2
it.
pole lanterns up there. They could be real cool. You got some
I did talk.
What's that?
pole lanterns,
What?
a pole lantern, like the lantern on each side. I think it'd be neat. Really pretty.
At the, down next to the steps. Yeah, that'd be nice.
So you already got.
We could price them.
And match the look of.
Well, there's already electric in the yards.
Yep. So the heated
Gas would be
lights.
nice.
Huh?
Gas would be nice.
Gas lanterns?
Yeah.
Veto.
Anyways.
LED too.
They're cheap over time, but they're expensive up
Hey,
front.
Fish coming, we might need a place to hang them on.
So that was quite for new sidewalks.
Well, yeah, right.
I've been using my truck for the maintenance truck, which I don't care to do, but if we could sell that Escape and look into, if y'all are wanting me to plow next winter, which you talked about, we're gonna have to get a different vehicle for me to operate in, man, like. I've done hauled, I don't know, I'm gonna say 20 or 30 loads from Lowe's here, pulling trailers and everything else. Again, don't care to do it, but there's a lot of trucks sitting around. I feel like I should be able to get one somewhere.
You wanna take that lead?
Yes, that's because we looked, it was about
We'll say
15,000
about
spent
July,
plowing.
snow plows will be for sale. So,
Yeah, you found it.
That's the right time of year.
so, yeah, we'll just let you and Gary work that out and then we'll bring it to us.
All right, and I had executive session on there, but I think that won't work itself.
Awesome. Thank you.
Like to hear it.
Okay, Brett Summers with Colonial Life never showed up, correct?
Yep.
Okay, do we have any commissioner comments?
Let me all go first. I have to thank for once.
I do too. No, I do too.
Well,
That's what I was looking at you.
I'll just say, congratulations to Commissioner Roberts. He is graduating with his master's degree on Friday. That he worked very hard for, and congratulations on the appointment to the state board. That, he's there representing Nicholas County well. So, congratulations. Appreciate it. For your hard work. And, taking on our burden.
I'll be like Commissioner Cole when he says, told you that I'm coming. Coming after you.
He surpassed that in 3 weeks.
No, still working on that.
Patty, you don't have to laugh that hard.
Right? Oh, we got another Patty story as soon as this is over. She's been talking about me and I found out.
Uh-oh. You need an executive session or a veto?
Oh, yeah. Both. No, just, right, mine aren't. No, the only thing I had is just public service. I see the Little League's looking for volunteers for the concession stand, and I know for Craigsville, they that's how they keep the cost of the kids playing down. So it's literally a fundraiser. It's a season-long fundraiser. They usually raise, I think, somewhere around $20,000 in the concession stand over the season, and it keeps the cost down. They pay for the Little League's charters for each team, insurance, and things like that out of it. So if you guys could find it your time to spare an hour or two, I think it's a 2-hour session out there. And there's a lot of things in the community that you could actually do. So I'd encourage that. That's all I got.
I guess I'm at ease and satisfied by heart because I guess I don't have anything. Believe it or not.
Why don't you get with the East Little League team and set up a day that 3 of us, we can go work for.
Okay. It's like I think there's like on the weekdays, it's a 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock game. Usually runs about 2 hours, and the weekends, I think it's like 9. It's about every other hour, 9, 11, 1, 3, 5, and 7. Something.
What time's your night?
Huh?
Afternoon, what time's your night?
I wish I had time.
That's a siesta from
I left the office at 10:30 last night. What time did you leave?
1 to 7. He's got a 6-hour midday nap, and then works at 3 in the morning. When I wake up, it's Garrett's live. He's active.
Yeah, right.
For real. Or you just leave your phone on.
Man, fell asleep with it.
All right.
Okay.
Fair motion, right?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.